After 13 years of running my wife's dad's company, I finally made it worth $85 million. At a family dinner, my wife and her dad looked at me and said, smiling, "Your wife's new husband will take over now." My heart sank. The next morning at work, everything changed. For 13 years, I had given everything to my wife's father's company: my time, my energy, my ideas, and my loyalty. I had worked through weekends, missed vacations, and sacrificed sleep, all to transform the struggling firm into an empire worth $85 million. It wasn't just a business to me, it was my creation. I had built it from the ground up, turning failed ventures into strategic successes, closing deals that others deemed impossible, and making my father-in-law's name synonymous with power and prestige. Yet, as I sat at the grand dining table that evening, surrounded by family members who had no idea of the storm brewing beneath my calm exterior, I heard the words that changed everything. "Your wife's new husband will take over now." The voice belonged to my wife. Her tone was smooth, practiced, like she had rehearsed saying it. Her father, seated at the head of the table, merely smiled in agreement as if this was just another business decision. Another shift in power that I should accept without question. My grip on the silverware tightened, but I forced my expression to remain neutral. I refused to give them the satisfaction of seeing my anger, my betrayal. The betrayal of a man who had dedicated his life to a cause only to be cast aside like an employee whose contract had expired. I glanced around the table. The rest of the family was chatting, eating, oblivious to the significance of what had just been said. Or maybe they knew, but had chosen to stay silent, unwilling to challenge the patriarch's decision. That was how it had always been. What he said was law. And I had been a fool. A fool to believe that loyalty mattered. A fool to think that years of hard work and sacrifice would make me irreplaceable. A fool to assume that my wife, the woman I built a life with, saw me as her partner rather than a placeholder for someone more suitable. Her new husband. I looked at her then, truly looked at her, and realized something I should have seen long ago. She had never fought for me, never stood up for me. Never challenged her father's authority, even when his choices were unfair. She had simply played the role of the obedient daughter, the princess waiting for her father to arrange the best possible deal for her. And now, she had been promised to another man. Not because I had failed her. Not because I was lacking. But because I was no longer useful to them. I placed my fork down gently, smoothing my napkin over my lap, maintaining the mask of control that had carried me through countless business meetings. I wouldn't react, not here, not now. They expected anger, they expected resistance. They expected me to protest, like a man who didn't see the game they were playing. But I saw it now. The room filled with laughter, the clinking of glasses, the hum of conversation. And yet, to me, everything had gone silent. I had built them an empire. And they thought they could hand it over to another man, while I walked away quietly. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dim glow of my study, staring at the documents stacked neatly on my desk. Financial records, contracts, agreements, all the proof of what I had given to this company. To this family. They had underestimated me. They thought I was just the workhorse, the fool who had built their fortune, while they held the reins.